Peyton Manning went down to Georgia to take on the young gun Matt Ryan in tonight's Monday Night Football game. Let's see how it all came about. It's the young versus old. Matty Ice, Peyton Manning, the sheriff. It had all the makings of what could have been a great game. It was a great game toward the end, but early going, not so much, at least not for Peyton Manning. The sheriff would throw 3 picks. And Willis McGahee would fumble, Noshawn Marino would fumble all in the first quarter. They committed 4 turnovers. The Falcons' defense were eating them alive. But fortunately for the Broncos, they were only down 13-0 despite all those 4 turnovers when they occurred. The 1 touchdown coming off a 1-yard run from Michael Turner in the first couple minutes of the game. But when Manning threw those 2 picks in the first 4 minutes of the game, that spelled trouble, especially on the road against a very tough home team, the Atlanta Falcons. Matt Ryan and company, and that defense looked stout for the majority of the game. And the Falcons, they are looking like they're probably the second best team, if not the first best team in the NFC right now, along with the San Francisco 49ers. It could be a potential playoff game, maybe even the NFC title game, but it's still early in the season. But still, though, the Falcons are looking really, really good right now. Matty Ice is playing on all cylinders right now. The running game can still use a little work, but they'll get there eventually. But, man, that defense, even though they lost their starter, Brent Grimes, for the season, they still look stout. Asante Samuel, Sean Weatherspoon, DeCalde, and all those guys, they look sick on D. As the Falcons, they busted out to a 20-0 lead near the end of the second as Tony G caught a 1-yard pass from Matty Ice, and it made it 20-0. And then the Broncos, keep in mind before all this, they used 2 challenges, one of them to nullify a pass interference call. They got that one right. They got another one wrong where John Fox thought he had 11 guys on the field, but he actually had 12, so he lost that, so he had no more challenges for the rest of the game. And he was about to challenge whenever the Broncos scored the touchdown near the end of halftime when Peyton Manning threw to Demaryius Thomas, and it didn't look like Thomas had his 2 feet in bounds, and they ruled it incomplete. But they were fortunate enough that it was under 2 minutes, because if it would have just been called incomplete before the 2-minute warning, they'd have been a crap out of luck, because they wouldn't have got the score, or they probably would have still scored anyway. It might have just been a field goal. But anyway, it was 27 at halftime. And then the third quarter, Matty Ice went back to work. 4-yard touchdown pass to Roddy White, making it 27-7. And then the defense held on. But then Peyton Manning would get started in the fourth quarter, though. He got a 2-yard rushing. He gave Willis McGahee the keys to a 2-yard rushing touchdown, making it 27-14. Then it was a little back and forth, a couple punts. And then Matty Ice had a punt from his own 5-yard line. Not him, but the Atlanta offense anyway. But Peyton Manning then drive down the field, and with 3.5 minutes to go, another 2-yard touchdown run for Willis McGahee. He makes it 27-21, and all of a sudden, despite all the turnovers and despite all the referee controversies and all that, it's a game again. But then Matt Ryan with the clutch 3rd down conversion to Julio Jones on a cross pattern that just edges over the first down line, and that would settle the score as the Falcons win 27-21, improving their record to 2-0, and the Broncos would go to 1-1. What do I think this means for the Falcons? This is a great statement win at home against Peyton Manning. It shows that Matt Ryan, who not only finally won a Monday night game for the first time in his career, he lost his previous 4 or 5 attempts, but it shows that they can compete with the best of them. They can compete with the best of the quarterbacks in the league. And you know what? This team, they have a lot of potential, a lot of talent. They seem to be gelling together really nicely. And I think the Falcons are in for a big playoff run this year. And I would not be surprised if they go to Qualcomm next week and beat the San Diego Chargers. I mean, I expect the Chargers to maybe hang in tough, but I think the Falcons are just too good. And the Chargers haven't really played anyone great up until the Falcons in Week 3, which they will on Sunday. So I think the Falcons should win on the road against the Chargers. Meanwhile, for the Broncos, they got a tough test at home against the Houston Texans. That's really a toss-up. It depends on how fast of a start Peyton Manning can get off. And that would really be the Texans' first true test of the season as well. Not only do the Texans have to go on the road to face the Broncos, but before that they face the Jaguars and the Dolphins. And I think the Broncos Texans is going to be a big game to watch this coming Sunday. So that's going to be a huge game. But that will about do it for today. Be sure to come back Thursday. We start week 3. It's going to be the Super Bowl defending champ New York Giants traveling to good old Carolina. Take on the Panthers and Cam Newton. I think it's gonna be a big game for both sides involved. They're both 1-1 on Thursday, and I think the Giants need it more. Well, really, both teams really need it a lot because they needed all the wins they can get to compete in their own respective divisions. I don't know who needs it more than the other, but all I know it's going to be a great game on Thursday. And also to note, I want to get to quick news real quick. Bad news for Washington. Brian Orakpo done for the season. Devastating blow to the Redskins defense. It means RG3 is going to have to work twice as hard if he wants to get the Redskins where they need to be. But that will about do it for today. Be sure to check back Thursday. I'll either review the game right after the Thursday night game or Friday morning, depending on how late I get home. So just stay in touch.